This is the story of a brave prince named Patrick, who is betrayed by his brother Charles out of greed for the throne and left to wander in a mysterious forest. In the forest, Patrick faces dangerous challenges. He encounters a powerful and cunning sorcerer and also comes face to face with a fierce dragon. During this journey, Patrick also meets Princess Victoria. The story is filled with grand adventure, magic, and fantasy. At the beginning of the film, a king is shown telling a story to his two sons. He tells them that 100 years ago, a dangerous sorcerer attacked their kingdom, but their grandfather bravely drove the sorcerer away and broke his magic staff. Along with that, he took all the sorcerer's magical belongings and hid them in a safe place. After that, the sorcerer fled and hid in a mysterious forest. Since then, he has never left that forest. And whoever enters the forest, the sorcerer kills them. The story then moves forward 10 years when both princes have grown up. The elder prince's name is Patrick, and the younger's is Charles. Charles envies his older brother because only he has been declared heir to the throne. That's why Charles always looks for a chance to put him down. One day the king makes an important decision, that Patrick's picture will be printed on the gold coins, while Charles's picture will be on the copper coins. Patrick tells his father that Charles's picture should also be on the gold coins, but the king replies that by tradition, only the heir's picture can be printed. When Charles learns of this decision, he is filled with rage. He begins to think of removing Patrick from his way. His servant Michael suggests that he has some fake keys which can open the cellar where the sorcerer's belongings are kept. There they might find some magical item that can help get rid of Patrick. With this plan, they both go to the cellar and open the door with the keys. Inside, they find many magical items. They first try to find the sorcerer's staff, but it had already been broken by their grandfather. So they search for other magical objects. Then Patrick finds a bottle containing magical blue water. This water has the power to erase anyone's memory, and the one who drinks it will not remember anything about themselves until someone else tells them who they are. Charles thinks about testing this blue water. He mixes it into wine and gives it to a soldier. As soon as the soldier drinks it, he forgets who he is. Seeing this, Charles becomes very happy. He feels he can now use this magical water to get Patrick out of his way. The next day, when Patrick is riding out on his horse, Charles says he wants to go along. With great cunning, Charles leads his brother toward the mysterious forest where the sorcerer once lived. Then by trickery, Charles gives Patrick the enchanted wine mixed with the blue water. After drinking it, Patrick forgets everything. Charles tells Patrick that he is a traveler, passing through the forest on his way to another kingdom. Hearing this, Patrick, with the wine in hand, walks into the forest. Prince Patrick's servant goes into the forest to search for him, but as soon as he steps into a cursed spot, he turns into a tree. Seeing this, Charles and his servant panic and run back to the palace. Upon returning, Charles tells the king in tears, "We both went out together, but Patrick accidentally entered the mysterious forest. I waited for him to come out, but he never did." Hearing this, the king becomes very worried and immediately orders his general to go into the forest and search for Patrick. But Charles slyly says, "I will go alone to find my brother." The king, overwhelmed with concern for his son, agrees and sends him to look for Patrick. Meanwhile, wandering through the forest, Patrick reaches a hut where he sees an old man. His leg is chained, and he is pouring water onto a dry tree. When the old man sees Patrick, he is astonished, because no human had ever come this far into the forest. As Patrick tries to speak with him, the same sorcerer, who had once been defeated and driven away by Patrick's grandfather, comes out of the hut. In fact, the hut belonged to the sorcerer, and he had imprisoned the old man. The sorcerer tries to harm Patrick with his magic, but his powers are nearly gone. To restore his strength, he had been watering the dry tree in hopes of rebuilding his staff. Before Patrick leaves, the old man breaks off a branch from the dry tree and gives it to him, saying, "This branch will help you in your journey ahead." Patrick thanks him and continues through the forest until he reaches another kingdom. That night, as he sleeps, the branch suddenly begins to glow. Patrick is startled and keeps the glowing wood with him. Elsewhere, the sorcerer measures the dry tree so he can rebuild his staff as quickly as possible. The next day, Patrick meets a man named Sislo, who is crying loudly because his marriage has fallen apart. Patrick offers him the enchanted wine, and as soon as Sislo drinks it, he forgets everything. This makes Patrick suspicious, so he tastes a drop himself, and immediately forgets everything too. Meanwhile, Prince Charles, instead of looking for his brother, hides in an inn. He even writes a false letter to his father, claiming he is hiding in a cave during a snowstorm and will soon bring Patrick back. In the meantime, Patrick and Sislo arrive in a city where Patrick sees the princess of that kingdom, dressed in black, riding in a carriage. At first sight, Patrick falls in love with her. Later, they both come to the same inn where Charles is hiding. They eat there, and the innkeeper tells them that the princess has been taken to be sacrificed to a dragon. If she is not sent, the dragon will destroy the entire kingdom. Hearing this, Patrick takes a sword from the inn and sets out to save the princess, while Sislo stays behind to work as a servant in the inn. Prince Patrick reaches the cave where the princess has been brought for sacrifice. Inside, he finds her tied up. He rushes to free her, but the princess stops him, saying he must first kill the dragon, otherwise the entire kingdom will perish. Patrick firmly declares, "I will save you, and I will kill that dragon too." Suddenly, the dragon appears and attacks. It breathes fire, throwing Patrick across the cave, and his sword falls from his hand. The princess screams in fear as the dragon advances to kill her. Just as the dragon is about to breathe fire, Patrick pulls the magical branch from his pocket. With its magic, he manages to defeat the dragon. Then he takes his sword and finishes the beast, rescuing the princess. Overjoyed, the princess falls deeply in love with Patrick. She tells him, "My name is Victoria." But during the battle, one of Patrick's arms is wounded. The princess takes off her veil and ties it around Patrick's injured hand. Meanwhile, Charles and his servant, covered in mud, return to the king. They tell him that they tried very hard to find Patrick, but he was nowhere to be seen. They think Patrick may no longer be alive. Hearing this, the king becomes sorrowful, but then says, "I have already announced in the kingdom that whoever finds my son will be rewarded with half of my realm and a great amount of gold." While walking through the forest, Victoria suddenly kisses Patrick on the cheek. Patrick smiles like a child. Victoria tries to learn more about him, but he tells her he remembers nothing. Victoria says, "There will soon be a royal tournament in our kingdom. Whoever wins it will marry me, so you should enter, win, and marry me." After this, Victoria feels thirsty. Patrick offers her the enchanted wine, but the princess refuses because she knows it is wine. Patrick then goes off to find water, and at one place he discovers some. In his bottle, a little wine is still left, but instead of throwing it away, Patrick drinks it himself. After drinking, he once again forgets everything. He leaves Victoria behind in the forest and continues ahead. Along the way, he meets some bandits who were searching for him. In fact, these men had come because of the king's announcement, but they do not realize he is the real prince. They take him with them toward the mysterious forest. Meanwhile, the princess also makes her way back to the palace. When she arrives, the king and queen are overjoyed to see her alive. Victoria tells them, "A young man killed the dragon and saved my life." Hearing this, the king says, "Now we will hold the royal tournament. Whoever wins shall become your husband." But Victoria says, "I already love him." The king smiles and replies, "If that's the case, then let him enter the tournament, win it, and marry you." The bandits and Patrick enter the forest and begin searching for the prince. Patrick separates from them and again reaches the hut where the sorcerer lives. The sorcerer is anxious because the tree has still not grown, and it is taking him a long time to rebuild his staff. When the sorcerer sees Patrick, he recognizes him. He realizes Patrick drank the blue water and lost his memory. Using the cloth tied on his hand and a bit of magic, the sorcerer discovers that the cloth belongs to Princess Victoria. The sorcerer tells Patrick, "A tournament is being held for the princess's marriage. You should go and take part." Then he gives Patrick a helmet and armor, though they are in very poor condition. Meanwhile, Charles also hears about the tournament and comes to the kingdom, determined to marry Victoria. But Charles has also brought some of the sorcerer's belongings with him. He takes out a bottle of magical water that can help win any battle. He pours it onto his spear, and as soon as the magical water touches it, the spear becomes incredibly strong. The next day, the tournament is held, where princes from many kingdoms arrive. Patrick happens to pass by the same inn, and Cislo spots him. Cislo follows him as Patrick enters the tournament and says, "I want to take part as well." People laugh at the poor condition of his armor, but still, they allow him to compete. Cislo also follows him into the arena. The first match is between Charles and another prince. With the help of his magical spear, Charles throws the prince out of the field. Everyone present is astonished. Princess Victoria, upset with her father, leaves the tournament in anger. Meanwhile, Patrick faces another prince. Though he has lost his memory, the moment he holds the spear, the skill comes back to him. He defeats his opponent with ease. In this way, both brothers win their matches and advance to the final. Princess Victoria also returns to watch the final match. When she sees Patrick, she says, "This is the man who saved my life." She shows the veil tied to Patrick's hand. But Patrick, who has forgotten everything, refuses to believe it. Charles then declares, "The princess will belong to the one who wins the final." The king agrees, and now the final battle will be between the two brothers. Princess Victoria grows suspicious of Charles, wondering why he keeps winning. She decides to search his room, where she finds the sorcerer's belongings. From Charles's words, she learns that Patrick is actually his true brother, and that Charles was the one who caused him to lose his memory by giving him the magical water. She also discovers the enchanted water Charles was using to win his matches. Victoria takes the bottle to her father, but in anger he smashes it on the ground. Before the match begins, Victoria gives Patrick new armor and a shield. She has also placed the magical branch, given by the old man, inside the shield. Because of this, Charles's spear breaks. Now the battle has completely changed. When Charles demands another duel, Victoria shows him the broken bottle. Realizing his scheme has failed, Charles declares he will fight Patrick with swords. The king accepts, and an exciting duel begins. With skill and honesty, Patrick wins the match. Just as he is victorious, his father arrives and is overjoyed to see his son alive. Princess Victoria reveals the truth about Charles to everyone, how he made Patrick drink the magical water and caused him to lose his memory. Meanwhile, the sorcerer's dry tree finally grows, and he creates his staff from it. But before leaving, the old man gives him the same wine bottle that Patrick had left behind. The sorcerer drinks it and forgets all his evil memories and intentions. He becomes a good man and frees the old man from his chains. At the same time, all the people who had been cursed into trees in the forest are also released. Prince Patrick and Princess Victoria visit the sorcerer's hut and invite him to their wedding. The king orders Charles and his servant to be imprisoned, and all the sorcerer's belongings are once again sealed away in a secret chamber. In the end, Prince Patrick and Princess Victoria are married in a grand celebration. Joy spreads throughout the kingdom, and thus this beautiful story of honesty, courage, and love comes to an end. I'm just a hardworking creator, trying my best, pouring my heart and soul into every video. If you found even a little bit of value or joy in my work, please consider subscribing to my channel. That one small subscription means the world to me and gives me the strength to keep creating. I'd be so grateful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.